Hello, hello. So we're back for another Tier List Tuesday, and this week's is the top 100 most popular anime characters from My Anime List and AniList instead of just anime. And it's another combined one, so I took the top 100 from both. They had 66 that they had in common, which you can see in these first two columns, but then there was 34 on each My Anime List and AniList that were unique to the two. So this is actually 134 characters rather than 100, just because I wanted to combine the two. I thought it was interesting, like just like with the most popular anime, yeah. The characters that you see from My Anime List tend to be from older shows, and then the ones from AniList are shows from like the last 5 years or so, mostly. So I think it just goes to show that definitely AniList's user base is on the younger side, and just prefers this newer, more recent stuff compared to the older classics, I guess, that you would see from My Anime List. There's also some characters in here that I'm just shocked are actually in the top 100 because I didn't think they were popular, but I guess they are. So we'll see as we go through. On the right half of the screen again, I have my top 25 here. It's not actually my top 25 characters. It's my top 12 best guys, my top 12 best girls, and then Askeladd is just kind of a miscellaneous 25th I threw in because I like him a lot as a character. But he's not a best guy for me. He's just a very good character. But again, I just was interested in seeing how many of these showed up in the top 100, or top 134, I guess you should say, from those two sites. And I do have the lists pulled up as well. Here's AniLists, that's their top 10, and then there's My Anime List and their top 10. But yeah, let's just jump right in because with 134, I'm sure it's going to take a while again, and the previous video ended up being like 2.5 hours, and this is more things, so we'll see if I can go any faster despite it being more. Just jump right into it. On the left here, here's the template, top 100 most popular characters. I'll put the link in the description as well if you want to do it. And we'll just jump in. We have a bunch of sections here, pretty much the same as the previous video. I just replaced Masterpiece with Goat, so those would be like my absolute favorite characters. Everything else is, I think, pretty self-explanatory, and obviously this is all personal opinion. You're free to disagree. I'm sure that there will be plenty of disagreements as we go through all of these characters. So we'll just jump right in, yeah. First off, Alucard. This is all going to be going in alphabetical order. Alucard is from Hellsing Ultimate, or just Hellsing, I guess. I feel like aside from him being just kind of badass between his design and all of his powers and how good he is and like how funny he is to watch in combat scenes, he's not like a super interesting or engaging character from what I remember. Granted, I did watch this like 7-8 years ago or something like that, so I'm a little rusty on him, but I just feel like he didn't have a whole lot of substance. It was just more of like, wow, he's really cool, he's OP, he's badass, which is fun for sure, but I definitely prefer characters that I find more entertaining to have that substance, or that I can just like relate to better. So for me, he's probably just going to be in the okay decent, just because he is fun to watch, but there's not much beyond that, at least to me. Next up, Anya from Spy Family, very recent. I believe she's from the AniList specific list. Also, like Alucard, very fun, but through the first core of the anime, at the time of recording this, the second core hasn't come out yet, but it starts next month, yeah. I do think Anya's very fun. I really like her reaction faces to things as she's reading like Lloyd and Yor's mind and other students and all that. She's just prime meme material with all of those faces. And I do think that she has some moments in the story so far that are good, like when she reads the minds of Lloyd and Yor and can tell that they're anxious or worried about something, and then she reacts in a way to try and get them to do something, to try and fix the problem or help them without them knowing that she's explicitly trying to help them. And I think that scene in the first core of her going to save the drowning kid, That goes to show what she could do in the future as she really learns to harness that mind reading power, I should say. But for now, there just hasn't been a ton. Like, she's really just a comedic relief character for the most part for me. But I do think as the series goes on, she definitely has potential. So for me, I'd put her in good. I think she's very entertaining. Araragi from Monogatari, I haven't seen it, so he just goes there. I know he's kind of contentious. So when I get around to it, I'll be interested in seeing what I think of him, but we'll see. Armin from Attack on Titan. I think he started off pretty weak, just kind of annoying. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but I think as the series has gone on, he's grown into be one of the better characters, just as he's matured and really grown into his own, especially in the final season, but starting to pick up more in the second half of season 3 with... I don't even want to say anymore because of spoilers, but I'm sure if you've seen season 3 part 2, you can probably imagine the scenes that really kind of make Armin jump up, in my opinion, as being a very strong character. And that's definitely continued in the final season as he's just gotten the respect of other people and become a better strategist, and, you know, it just definitely has grown throughout the series, and I really like to see that in a character. So for me, Armin would go in very good. Askeladd, I mentioned it earlier. He is in my list here. I don't have an actual top 25 character list. I should probably make one, considering how much I like making lists. But if I did, Askeladd would definitely be in it. I think he's one of the best antagonists of all time. I think he's just incredibly interesting. He's very well written. Even though he's the antagonist, for me, I couldn't help but like him a lot of the time. I wouldn't say he's a love to hate. Like, I actually liked him more often than I disliked him, but he's definitely a bad guy who does bad things. But I do think his, surrogate father role with Thorfinn is pretty interesting. Their dynamic is nice, and just in general, Askeladd, I feel, is one of the most interesting, engaging characters that I've seen in anime, and I think I gave him the best antagonist role in my 2019 awards, I want to say. Very well deserved. And he was one of the strongest parts of the first season of Vinland Saga, so I'll be curious in the second season how it goes without him as one of the main driving forces in the plot and just character relationships, but we'll see. Either way, for me, Askeladd is definitely a GOAT. One of the greatest antagonists and characters of all time. Asuka from Evangelion. I think I'm not super high on Evangelion. I gave some reasons why in my top 100 most popular anime tier list, and you can go check it out there if you want. But I do think Asuka was one of the better parts of Evangelion. I thought she was one of the more interesting characters. The whole... kind of similar to Shinji in issues with her parents and her relationship with them. Just wanting people's approval to feel useful. It's kind of hard to rank her, I feel like, just because my opinions of Evangelion might kind of cloud my judgment of her as a character, but like I said, I do think she's one of the better characters in Evangelion. Definitely preferred when she was on the screen compared to when she wasn't. I'd put her in good, probably above Anya for now. Asuna from Sword Art Online. I think this is probably one of the first times that people might disagree with me a lot, but I really like Asuna. Ever since I saw the first season of Sword Art, 7-8 years ago, she's always been one of my best girls. You can see here in my actual best girl list, she's number 3. I really like that she's not just a damsel in distress type of thing that you see in a lot of isekai. I know Sword Art's not really an isekai, but it's similar in the whole stuck in a game. It's kind of like you're transported to another world, and then the subsequent arcs, they all take place in these various fantasy places. But she's definitely not a damsel in distress. She's a very strong character on her own. She can hold her own. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like the fairy dance arc from season 1, because Asuna is one of the better characters in the series, and she's just kind of reduced to this essentially background character who needs to be saved, which I didn't like. I think that's the weakest arc. And I really, really like Asuna. I think she's had some good development through the series as she's continued to get stronger and even more independent from Kirito. But I do like her relationship with him, and I just like her a lot as a character. Great design. I think she'll always be one of my favorite one of my best girls. For favorite characters, I don't think she'd be in my top 25 as like an actual character, but I do like her a lot. So I would put her also in good, above Asuka and Anya. She's like borderline very good, upper good, lower very good. But yeah, we'll see. There's been a lot of seasons of Sword Art, and my opinion of her has never changed. I think Progressive also did a good job of showing, again, her strength on her own and what she can do. Okay, Ayanokoji from Classroom of the Elite. So, I haven't read the light novels. I would like to at some point. I recently picked them up, actually. But even without that, I do like him a lot as a protagonist in the anime. I think just how he's very calculating, just laying these traps and plans far ahead of time and constantly surprising other characters and also just the viewer of things that he does without you realizing to plot ahead. His past is very mysterious. I think the way that he uses other characters to kind of reach his end goal is nice, but you also get to see some of his development and progression throughout the series. Like, just comparing how he is in season 1 and 2, I think he's a little more outgoing and willing to make connections with people. And of course, a lot of that is still founded on the whole using them as tools to justify or to accomplish his goals. But I really, really like how calculating and mysterious he is. It just makes me interested in continuing to watch and see what he's going to do next to counter some other smart character that is plotting some stuff, or more of a, I guess Ryuen is, he's smart, but he's also very forceful compared to someone like Ayanokoji, who's more just straight up smart and cunning. Either way, I do really like him, and from what I hear of the light novels, he's even better in that, just because you get more of his like internal monologues and just thoughts on various situations, and his personality is supposedly a little different. So I'm looking forward to that. Even without that, I'd probably put him in very good towards the end. I'm sure I'd put it higher if I had read the light novels, but he's still good as it is. Bakugo from My Hero, have always thought he's annoying. He definitely gets better as the series goes on. You compare season 1 and like season 4, I think he's more have come into his own as a good rival character to Deku. He's not quite as antagonistic. I think he's willing to work with people, whereas he wasn't before. From what I've read in the manga past where the anime is, I think that just continues. He continues to develop into a better, I don't know, he's still kind of a rival, but he's definitely not an antagonist like he was towards the beginning. But even so, still not a huge fan of him, just because I don't like this type of character personally. For his role in the story, like, he fills his role well. He does what he needs to do to kind of be that force that pushes Deku forwards a bit as a rival. Like, that scene where the two finally just kind of let their emotions out. I think it was, I want to say end of season 3, that like fight in the streets. That was really good. And there's some good stuff in the manga with him coming up that the anime hasn't gotten to yet. I'd probably put him at the top of okay decent. C2, I believe is how you say that. I haven't seen Code Geass. I will at some point. I know she's supposed to be very popular. Chika from Kaguya. Probably my least favorite of the main cast from Kaguya-sama. I do think she's very funny, but I kind of feel like that's all she has going for her. And I've read a lot farther ahead in the manga. Very, very close to caught up. And I still feel like that's more or less the same. Like, that's not to say that she doesn't have some good moments, but I think her main strength is being a comedic relief character, whereas pretty much all of the other characters have some really solid like character development and arcs. I feel like you don't quite get that with Chika, but as a comedic character, she's definitely good. So I'd put her, yeah, I'd put her in good behind Anya, because I feel like Anya has a little more substance and just her reaction faces are funnier. But Chika is actually, you know what? I would put Chika ahead of Anya. I'm thinking about the voice acting too. Like Chika's voice actress just kills it. Like her reactions to things and that rap scene, her screaming in annoyance whenever Shiogane is like, "Oh yeah, I can do this," or "I'm not that bad," and then he does something and he's just absolutely horrific and she has to tutor him. Oh, that reminds me, actually, yeah, the tutor scenes with Shiogane are very funny. She does help him become a stronger character because of those scenes, because it enables him to do other things. So yeah, I like Chika, but I would still say she's the weakest of the Kaguya cast. Deku kind of feels similar with Bakugo, like not in that, just in that I feel like they're not super interesting. Potential hasn't been fully realized. Still feel that way after what I've read in the manga. He's like, I like the whole I don't have superpowers and now I have a chance to finally become a hero and accomplish my dream, and his mentor is the person he's looked up to most in his whole life. Like, it's a good starting point for the character, but I feel like it just hasn't really ever gone anywhere. Like, I've never thought he's anything better than okay. Definitely with my hero, I think the side characters I tend to prefer compared to the main ones. And Deku is just another example of that. He has his moments for sure, kind of like Bakugo. I think there are certain fights, like the overhaul fight with Eri, I think was very good. That fight against Muscular, I think at the first half of season 3 was very good. So he definitely has moments, but just like development wise, I feel like he still hasn't gone very far. And it can be kind of frustrating to watch just how he reacts to things, even multiple seasons in. Like, you're kind of like, really, Deku? Like, this is how you're reacting to that? So it can get kind of aggravating. I would put him above Bakugo, but he's still just in the okay section for me. Denji Chainsaw Man, haven't seen it yet. I have had the manga for a while. I've been meaning to read it, but with the anime announced, like, I just prefer anime as a medium, so I'd rather watch it through that. Or experience the characters in the story through anime over manga, so I'm sure I'll have opinions on him after this fall, because it finally airs this fall, which is great. Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, again, I would say a GOAT, one of the best protagonists of all time from one of the best anime of all time. I think he has some fantastic development through the story. I think his dynamics with pretty much all of the characters are great, especially like Ed and Winry, I think, are one of the best ships, so their relationship is great. The brotherly bond he has with Al, I think his relationship with Mustang is good. I like his back and forth with Scar. He's just a great protagonist. I don't even know what to say. Everybody has talked about how good Ed is for a long time, and I think that still is the case, even though it's been, 12 years since Brotherhood came out, even longer since the original, which I haven't seen, only Brotherhood, but great. He's a fantastic character. Emilia from ReZero, I was kind of, like, I just thought she was fine in season 1. I think she definitely is better in season 2, because we finally get to see her past, which, is very important in figuring out why she is the way she currently is, because her past was always very mysterious and you didn't really know how it had shaped her. So once we finally got that, I think it made me appreciate her character more, and by the end of season 2, she's taken some steps forward to just become less reliant on Subaru, which I liked. She's more independent. There's definitely still the reliance, but it's a step in the right direction, so I thought that was good. But I still feel like she has a lot of room to grow and go. We'll see. I'm sure ReZero will get more seasons in the future with how popular it is. I don't know if I'll read ahead in the light novels. I'd probably just prefer to keep waiting for the anime at this point. But I would say Emilia is also just in the good section for now. It's hard to order with these. I kind of feel like probably ahead of Chika just because she has more substance to her character now that season 2 has finished. But yeah, she's good. And I don't feel super strongly, but she's better than like the okay decent crew. Eren from Attack on Titan. I feel like everyone has said pretty much everything that needs to be said about Eren. He won Best Protagonist in my awards last year, I want to say. Just his growth out of any character across pretty much any anime I've watched has probably been the absolute best. Just going from this naive kid to a very morally gray leader of, I don't even, like, he has his own faction who follows his beliefs, and now he's facing other factions, and, you know, there's betrayals and team-ups that you wouldn't expect, and it's just, Eren is definitely one of the most interesting and well-written characters, I feel, in all of anime. I'd probably put him basically tied with Askeladd as a GOAT. I'm going to put him behind for now. I think I need to see how the series ends to decide if he passes Askeladd or if something happens in the end that actually slightly lowers my opinion, because I know the ending was kind of contentious from what I've heard. But I do think, as of now, Eren is one of the best characters in anime and probably like a top 3 to 5 protagonist from the roughly 350-ish shows that I've seen. Incredibly interesting. And I love Eren as a character. Erwin, Attack on Titan. I think this is one where I tend to disagree with people. I'm not as into Erwin as a lot of people are. Like, I think his main scene in Season 3 Part 2 was good. Gave me more respect for his character, but even so, like, it's hard to talk about some of these characters without spoilers for major story beats, and I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't seen it. I think Erwin is very much the ends justify the means type character, and you can kind of see how that has made him feel guilty and just impacted him throughout the series in Season 3 when he has his big scene, and that's what I felt kind of elevated his character for me. But even with that, I'm still just not super into Erwin. I would put him in good, but towards the middle of the pack for now. Urza from Fairy Tail, haven't seen. Heard she's one of the more popular characters, so that doesn't surprise me that she's in the top. Fushiguro from Jujutsu Kaisen. I do like him a lot. I think he's probably one of the better characters in the series, at least based on Season 1. I kind of liked how he was a straight man to all of the antics that Yuji and Nobara and Gojo would get up to. Definitely strong. I think that couple episode arc towards the end of the first season with him having to fight one of the like main I forget the term, but that curse on his own was a really good scene, and it just allowed him to kind of grow since he was forced to do it all on his own and resort to more drastic measures. That was one of my favorite episodes from that series, so that was nice. I think he has a lot of room to just continue to grow as he and Nobara and Itadori face tougher and tougher challenges, I'm sure, in Season 2. So I'm looking forward to that, but as it is, I would say he would be in good and probably probably like this. I'm a little biased in favor of Asuna just because she's been one of my favorites for so long, but I think he could pass her depending how Season 2 and on keeps going. Gabi from Attack on Titan. So this is one that was from AniList, and I was really surprised that she was in the top 100 most popular, because I feel like anytime I see people talking about her, it's about how much they hate her. And given how antagonistic she is and what she does to the main cast, like, I understand. But I think she's really, really, really well written. Just essentially being a child soldier in growing up in that war environment, you know, what she resorts to. Like, I don't think, if you look at it objectively, you can argue that how she reacted was necessarily wrong from her point of view. You know, she doesn't have all of the information we have, and I think that's why people don't like her, because she's reacting to things and doing things that maybe she wouldn't do if she knew everything that we know, but she doesn't. And I think as she begins to find that out and her character changes in response to it, you know, that is what goes to show how well written she is as she just continues to adapt. You know, just comparing how she was at the very beginning of the final season with just one track mind focused on just exterminating everybody that is related to Eren, essentially, and Eren's group, to, you know, her interactions with them as she actually gets to meet them and live with them and be alongside them for longer periods of time. You know, she's really hard to talk about without spoilers, but I think she's really, really well written. I would put her in very good, probably even above Armin. Actually, no. Probably under Armin. But I really like her arc and just her character in general, even though she is antagonistic. Jintoki from Gintama, haven't seen it, but I'm not surprised that he's a most popular. I've seen clips that I like, just not the actual series. Giyu from Demon Slayer. I feel like I don't have a whole lot to say about him, because just in the first 2 seasons he hasn't shown up a lot. Like, he was important in that first arc, and that was kind of it. And then he just hasn't really done anything since then. I liked him when he was in that arc. You know, he's strong. I think he was a good kind of pseudo mentor-ish character to Tanjiro at the beginning. I like that he was a little more understanding of Tanjiro's condition right from the start, or Tanjiro and Nezuko's relationship right from the start, compared to how some other characters just immediately are jumping at it. But I just need to know more about him before I really decide. That being said, I would put him in okay decent, I think. Just until I know more about him, I can't, in good faith, put him higher than that. Gojo from Jujutsu, my favorite character from the series so far. He's hilarious. He is really strong, and I think that the contrast between how funny and lighthearted he is with how he is when he gets serious in fights and just when shit goes down, it's a really nice contrast. And I'm just laughing thinking about it again, but that post-credit scene of him and Yuji and Nobara going to interrupt Fushiguro when they thought some girl was hitting on him, and his whole like, it's time for violin or piano practice or whatever the hell it was he says. Like, I absolutely love that. Gojo is definitely one of my best guys. You can see here he's in my top 10. Just very funny, very entertaining, very... what's the word? I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I think he's a great mentor to the main cast. I think, you know, beyond that kind of upbeat, lighthearted attitude he gives them, there's definitely that dark background, which we can kind of find some of in the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie. And there's definitely more to it that we still don't know, so I'm sure at some point we will find that out. But I'm looking forwards to his clash with some of those stronger curse bearers and how he continues to be the mentor figure to the main cast. And just his antics in general. I really like him. He's definitely in the amazing section for me. Gonna go fast for the next few characters. Goku, haven't seen Dragon Ball. Gon, haven't seen Hunter x Hunter. Guts, haven't seen Berserk. Would like to at some point for at least Hunter x Hunter and Berserk, but it's just those long series. It's really hard for me to get into because they're so long. So, I don't know. Hachiman from Origairu. Went on a little bit of a tangent about him in my anime list, but I have just never liked Hachiman. I don't understand why people really like him. The best guess I can get is people are like, wow, he's so relatable. Like, the way that he thinks about if you can relate to Hachiman, that's kind of a problem in a lot of ways. I feel like your view of reality, his view of reality is very warped, and I think over the course of the show he gets a little bit better about it thanks to his interactions with, I think, Yukino and Yui. But I just really don't like the way that he thinks about things and reacts to things. I think his "I want something genuine" scene is good, because I think deep down that it's true. Like, that's what he wants. He wants that genuine friendship and relationship, not this superficial stuff that a lot of people have, especially when they're younger, like his age group. But I just really never cared about him as a character or as a protagonist. I wouldn't say he's bad. He definitely has a couple of good scenes and moments, like I said, with that "I want something genuine" scene. But I just, pretty much the majority of the things that he does or says rubs me the wrong way. So I would put him in not great. The girls in the series are good, though. I just don't like Hachiman. Hange from Attack on Titan, she's another one kind of like Erwin, where it's like, she's fine. I just never really liked her. I've never understood why people think she's super great. She's funny, I think, in some of the earlier seasons when she just gets all obsessed with Titans and her research. And I think, again, as the series has taken the more story-focused, like serious, darker tone, and kind of expanded its world in seasons 3 and 4, she has gotten more interesting as her role has expanded, but I am still just not super into her. I'd probably put her above Erwin, but like right around that same section. Hayasaka from Kaguya, one of the better characters from the main cast, I would say, which I guess doesn't say much because I think they're all good characters. The anime hasn't gotten to it yet, but her arc in the manga I thought was pretty strong. I think she's a good comedic character in her, again, kind of a straight man role to Kaguya's antics with Shiogane. And I do think you can see bits and pieces of what her arc would be in the earlier seasons, like with Shiogane kind of able to read her in that karaoke scene, and then the rap scene that follows it. I don't want to say too much because a lot of what I know about her comes from what I've read ahead in the manga. But I do think she's a good character. And I would put her also in good, probably here. I like her more than Asuka, but I think like Asuna or Fushiguro, they just have stronger presences in the story so far. In the manga, like even after the manga, I'd probably put her in good, but she's better than she was in the anime once you kind of get to know that. We got another rapid fire section. I think his name is Hinata from Haikyuu. Haven't seen that. I would like to at some point. I think the series is going to be over soon in anime form. I think there's just a couple movies announced that are supposed to end it, so we'll see. Hisoka, Hunter x Hunter, like I said, haven't seen it. Like to. Hollow, haven't seen Spice and Wolf, but I'd like to. Homura from Madoka, another one that it's kind of hard for me to rank because I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen the main series, and I think Homura is very significant in the movie from what I've heard, so I'll rank her just based on the main series, but that could change a lot based on the movie. In the main series, I think I never disliked her. I think some people did because of just she rubbed people the wrong way. But I felt even from the start that there was a reason she was acting the way she did. Like, she wasn't just doing this to be an asshole, essentially. And that was justified as the series went on. And I think once all of that was revealed and you really understand her relationship to Madoka and the other girls, it really humanizes her. Makes you feel sympathetic for her, or at least it did for me. So I liked Homura. Probably one of the more interesting characters, at least to me, in Madoka from the series alone. I would put her in good, probably here. Again, could rise or fall a lot based on the movie, which I haven't seen yet, but I will definitely watch that at some point. Hori from Horimiya, I like her overall. I really like her relationship with Miyamura. I like her design. I like her voice actress. I believe it's the same as Asuna, which, of course, Asuna is one of my favorites, so I am not going to complain about hearing a similar voice. I do have issues with how she treats Miyamura at times. Like, I like tsunderes, but I don't like the more physically abusive types, which she is. And sometimes I feel like that's not even necessarily her being tsundere. It's just kind of her resorting to physical means to show how she feels about something. So that kind of rubs me the wrong way at points. But overall, I do like her as a character. I like I said, her relationship with Miyamura. I like her dynamic with the friend group. And I really like that final scene with the two of them in the anime. There's a lot of stuff with her and Miyamura that gets cut out because the anime essentially only adapted half of the manga. Like, it adapted the first half and then the final chapter, pretty much. So you get the whole second half is just missing. It's mostly slice of life stuff with a couple more significant scenes mixed in. So you could check that out if you want to see more of them. I would recommend it. I like the series. But yeah, overall, I like Hori, but I didn't think she was anything spectacular. I would put her in good as well, probably. Like, as a character, I think she's worse than these guys, but I like her more than them, so it's kind of hard for me to place it. I'll put her, like, here. I think his name's Ichigo from Bleach. Haven't seen it. Ichigo from Darling in the Franxx. She's another one I was really surprised was in the most popular list because she's another one who got a lot of hate for how she acted in a certain episode that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the show. Personally, I never disliked her. You know, I, of course, was not a huge fan of that scene, but I think, you know, again, if you look at it objectively from her point of view and everything, like, you can understand why she is acting the way that she is. And I think a lot of people just react purely based on emotion as soon as they see it, rather than really kind of thinking about the implications of the scene and the actions and the motivations and all that. So I liked Ichigo. I would say she was my second favorite character in the series. Behind 02, but second favorite doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot when I think most of the characters are on the weaker side. I don't have much else to say about her. I thought she was cute. I thought she did have some decent development as the story went on, but it wasn't significant enough to really jump her up in how I feel. So I would put her in okay, decent, but towards the top of it. Miko Iino from Kaguya. So I think she's kind of underratedly one of my favorites from the series. I really like her arc and just her continued development in the manga, which the anime hasn't really gotten to yet. Again, there's kind of hints of that in season 2, but I mean in season 3, but you don't see it yet. But I do really like the Iino Ishigami ship. You know, will it pan out? Because Ishigami and Tsubame are still kind of, who knows what's going on with them based on the anime, and Iino is like, who knows how she really feels, but I like them together personally, so I'd like to see it play out somehow. But I like Iino a lot. Again, I know people were kind of iffy on her when she got introduced because, again, she has that antagonist role. But I really like her role in the group and her dynamic with the rest of them, especially her kind of like brother-sister relationship with Shirogane, I feel. Again, I obviously ship Iino and Ishigami, so I like their dynamic, especially how it continues to develop in the manga, which hopefully we see in anime form over time. Yeah, I like Iino a lot. I would put her in very good, but towards the back half. Or not the back half, like at the end from how it currently is. Inosuke from Demon Slayer. So, didn't like him at all when he was first introduced. Not to the extent of like Zenitsu, who I just straight up hated. But I still wasn't really an Inosuke fan. I do think he's gotten better as the series has gone on. I think he's mellowed out a bit. I appreciate his bond with like Tanjiro and Zenitsu and just how willing he is to immediately put himself in danger to protect them. He's obviously very determined. He's very passionate. He does occasionally get on my nerves still with how much he just yells about things. I really am not a fan of really loud characters just because I'm a quiet person, so the loud characters kind of grate on me over time. But I do think he's gotten better. I would put him in okay, probably like, yeah, I feel like this is fair. I like Ichigo more than him, but you know, when he was introduced, I probably would have put him like here. So based on his development just in the last like season and a half, essentially, he's jumped up a whole tier and he's close to the top of that tier. So he could move into good based on how the series keeps going. We'll see. Ishigami. So like I was saying, I really like his dynamic with Iino, and I think Ishigami is just a fantastic character all around. Like his arc in season 2, top tier stuff. You can see here, he's my number 6 best guy of all time. I just really, really, really like Ishigami. Like, compared to Hachiman, where it's like, oh, you know, maybe you don't really want to relate to him. I think Ishigami is a more relatable character. I think his kind of warped view is understandable at the start, but seeing how he grows out of that, thanks to his friendship with the various people in the student council, is really nice. I just think he's a very, very well-written character, and you continue to see that in the manga. So again, I can't say a whole lot because I know what happens after where the anime is. But I think if you're an Ishigami fan, you will like him even more after where you see the manga go. And, you know, partly my reason for Shirogane and Ishigami being so high is also because of what I've seen of them in the manga after where the anime is. But even just in the anime, I really like Ishigami. Especially thanks to his arc in season 2. I would put him in amazing and above Gojo. I think that's Itachi from Naruto. Haven't seen it. Itadori from Jujutsu. Again, I like him. I think he's good. I think he's a solid protagonist. He is fun to watch in combat scenes. I think he's very... what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's escaping me right now, but I think he's good. He's close to Fushiguro for me. I'll probably put him above Fushiguro for now. Yeah, that seems fair. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about him. I just like him. He's fun to watch. I feel like that's really... Sometimes that's all you need. Itsuki from Quintessential Quintuplets. My second favorite of the quintuplets after... I've read the whole manga. I read the whole manga years ago. I was reading it weekly as it ended, so it was a lot of fun to see who won and just go down with your ships depending on who you picked. But Itsuki, I think, you know, given that she was the first girl who was introduced, I think a lot of people liked her at the start, and then over time they kind of cooled off because she didn't get as much attention as the other characters. But I've always liked Itsuki. I really like her dynamic with Futaro. I think how they're like the way they bicker, and like they kind of have a brother sister relationship in a way, but like I was gonna say I like their ship too, but then saying it right after that feels kind of weird. But it's like a friendly brother sister relationship, you know, like not actual siblings, but they have a similar dynamic with the bickering, but how they clearly care about and look after each other. Yeah, I mean, just overall, I like her a lot. I think the whole gag with her eating a lot is funny when it's played out the right way. I like the kind of support role that she takes with her sisters, how she kind of is following in her mother's footsteps and wants to be a teacher, which also is another reason I like her dynamic with Futaro, because he's kind of their teacher. So they're both similar in that sense. But yeah, I like Itsuki a lot. I would put her... Yeah, that seems fine to me. This guy, I don't even know his name, but I think he's from Durarara. I would like to watch that at some point. I've been meaning to for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. Don't even know who this guy is. I think his name was Jinwoo. I don't know where he's from. Maybe solo leveling, if I had to guess. This is like Johan something maybe from Monster. Haven't seen it. Planning on it at some point. I think this is Joseph Joestar from part 2. I've only seen part 1. I will definitely get around to it. Jotaro, I think, part 3. Haven't seen it, obviously, because I haven't even seen part 2. Some guy from Haikyuu, Kageyama, I think. Haven't seen it. Kaguya from Kaguya-sama. I don't have her here in my best girls, but in terms of a character, I think she's one of the best. Not just like in Kaguya the series, I would say she's the best character in the series, but just in general, like one of the best characters. Just one of the best examples of a character that continues to develop and grow throughout the series. I think her dynamic with Ishigami is fantastic. I love their relationship. I really like her continued role with Hayasaka as Hayasaka gets hurt. Like, their relationship before and after her arc is very different, but I really like how it changes. Her and Shiogane, one of the best ships of all time. Just, like, she has it all. Great design, great voice actress, great development throughout the series, great dynamics with all the other characters. Like, one of the best. I would put her in GOAT tier, probably here. Another Naruto guy, Kakashi, probably. Haven't seen it. Kamina from Gurren Lagann. Used to be one of my best guys. He's just kind of fallen out over time as I've watched a lot more shows and found a lot more characters I like. Simone is very high in my best guys. Also one of my favorite protagonists. But I do really like Kamina's role in the story, helping Simone come out of his shell, literally and figuratively, in his personality and how he helps him break out of the underground. Just their brotherly bond is great. He's just one of those characters who I think is a lot of fun to watch. And he does a great job serving his role in the story. And then there's that scene towards the end of the series that always makes me tear up whenever I see it. But I very much like Kamina. I would put him in very good, probably at the end of it. Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. So I've seen the entire anime series, and I've read Tokyo Ghoul the manga, but not the manga, just Tokyo Ghoul. I do like Kaneki a lot as a protagonist. After having read the manga, I do feel like they kind of cut out some stuff in the anime that could have made him a little better. But even despite that, I think he's another character who's an example of one who just his continued growth over the course of the whole series, and going from this meek, timid guy to this just monstrous, again, like, story stuff, can't really say a whole lot, but I like his growth. I like his development. I like his relationship with Toka, I think her name is. Just how strong and respected he gets as the story goes on. It was fun to watch in fights, especially as he got stronger and discovered more powers. So I'd have to, I feel like, read the manga to really get like a finalized idea, but I'd probably put him in good and probably like here. It's pretty close for these, in my opinion. Like, I like Hayasaka more, but I think Kaneki's probably a slightly better character, so I'm just going to go like this because of personal bias. How many we got? Okay, we're making good progress. Kaori from Your Lie in April. I liked Kaori. She's kind of similar to Hori in that I don't like how she can kind of quickly jump to the more physical aggression in her kind of tsundere personality. But I think when you understand her backstory and just see how it all goes as it reaches the end, you kind of can justify it a bit more. I think I like her passion for music and just wanting to enjoy life. Like, that's a good message, I think, like, to make the most of life and the time you have here, because you're not gonna be around too much, and she's somebody who clearly tries her best to do everything that she could possibly want to do, and I just like her story in general. I know some people don't. I did. I would put her in good probably towards the latter half, something like this. Karma, I think his name is, from Assassination Classroom. Haven't seen it. I would like to. I started watching it at some point, actually. I just never got around to finishing it. I think I saw like maybe 6 episodes. Kazuma from Konosuba. I like Kazuma as a protagonist. I think he's very funny. Great voice acting. I love his dynamic with each of the main cast. But as a character, again, not a whole lot of substance. Like, to me, he's just one of the more, like, he's fun and he's entertaining types. So I would put him in good, but also, like, again, towards the back half. Killua, again, haven't seen Hunter x Hunter. Kirito, this is another one where people are probably going to disagree with me a bit. I don't dislike Kirito. Like, I don't think he's amazing as a protagonist or a character in general, but I don't think he's just absolute garbage, bottom of the barrel trash like so many people make him out to be. I think he takes some time to kind of get better, but I never disliked him, so to speak. I think in Alicization is probably the peak of sword art, and Kirito's role in that, independent from Asuna with Yu-Gi-Oh, I really liked their dynamic, and just I think Alicization shows like what Kirito's character can do when he's allowed to really be on his own and flourish. But even like at Alization's peak, like, I'd never say he passes just good for me. He always is like just between good and okay decent, depending on the arc. I think it can get a little annoying how OP he is. Like, for some characters it's fun, like Gojo, it's really fun OP. For Kirito, it's like, wow, look at you, like you somehow brought your skills from one game into another game and you're just wiping the floor with people somehow. Like, that's kind of like but again, I didn't ever feel like I really disliked Kirito. I would probably put him at the top of okay decent. Koro Sensei, Assassination Classroom, haven't seen it. Kurapika, I think, from Hunter x Hunter, haven't seen it. Makise Kurisu, drumroll, goat. She is my number 5 best girl of all time, as you can see here. I think she's one of the most engaging, likable protagonist characters. I love her relationship with Okabe. That's my number 1 ship of all time. I think she's very well, like, she's peak tsundere. I really like her development over the course of the series of, like, just, wow, Okabe is so annoying and these people are weird to, gradually getting to know them and enjoy her time with them and really think of all of them as friends that she wants to spend time with. Just Kurisu is definitely one of the goats of anime, not just like anime girls or best girls, but like anime characters, anime protagonists. Kurisu is top tier and always will be. Maybe she's kind of the reason I really like characters that have red in their designs. Like you can probably see that with my best girls here, like, or red-ish. Like Lisa doesn't have it so much, but she has that brown hair, which is close-ish, I guess. Musashi has pink hair with the red outfit. Asuna has like a orangish hair and wears red in her outfit. Rin, red outfit. Kurisu, red hair. Takemoto, red hair. Ureshiko, red eyes and red ribbons. Nino has pink hair. Yui's like orange hair. Alice, red eyes. Ran, red eyes and a red streak in her hair. Like, there's a lot of red in my favorites here. And I think Kurisu is like one of the first girls that I ever thought like, oh wow, she, like, her and Asuna, like, wow, they're best girls for me. So maybe she was one of the inspirations behind that, now that I think about it. Who knows? Anyway, keep it moving. Kurumu from Date Alive. Haven't seen it. I would like to. Kyo from Fruits Basket. You can see here he's in my top 12 at number 11. Another character who I think has some great development over the course of like 63 episodes in the series. Really like his relationship with Toru. I like his, like, I don't know how to describe his relationship with Yuki, but seeing how it all comes to a head at the end of season 3 in terms of his relationship with both Yuki and the Soma family in general and with Toru, all very satisfying. Kyo is definitely a very good boy. Very good boy. So he goes in the very good section, and like comparing him as a best guy to a best character, probably like this. Don't know this guy's name. Law, maybe? One Piece, I think. Haven't seen it. Lelouch? Again, I don't know how to pronounce it. Haven't seen it. I will. Levi, Attack on Titan. I like him as a character. I think the... what's the backstory OVA series? It's like 2 or 3 episodes. It might be called No Regrets. I liked how that shed some light on his backstory. Levi is one of those characters like Gojo who's really OP, and it's fun to see him fight. I am a little, I wouldn't say annoyed, but I think it's unfortunate that he's kind of sidelined for a lot of the final season, because you're so used to his big role in the first few seasons that having him gone is kind of like, what's going on? He's still around, but he's just not doing as much. So I'm hoping he plays a bit more significant of a role in the final season. 3 finals, final part 3. But yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. I do like him as a character. I would put him in very good. Probably, I'd put him above Armin. Got a lot of Attack on Titan in these tops. Light from Death Note, like the first real anime I watched, 10 years ago now. Hard to believe. I like Light a lot. I really like the back and forth he and El have, who, speaking of the devil, is right next to him, so maybe I'll talk about them at the same time. Yeah, this Battle of the Brains, like, they're very well written. I really like just this cat and mouse that they both play with each other, as Light's trying to eliminate El is trying to, he's always suspicious of Light, but he's trying to get definitive proof that Light is Kira. They're just like one of the best duos as leads, I feel like, who are clashing in anime in general. Like, another one that I like a lot is Kogami and Makishima from Psycho Pass. But like as characters, I probably like Makishima more than both of them. But I think both of them are better than Kogami, so they're more like middle. Either way, I do like both of them a lot. I would probably put them both in very good. But towards the back part, probably like, yeah, I would order them like that. Luffy from One Piece, haven't seen it. Mai, how are you doing? Okay, good. Mai from Bunny Girl Senpai, she was a character who is another one where like I really, really liked her at first and then kind of fell over time as I just watched more and found more characters that I like. I still do like her, though, don't get me wrong. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm not sure if that would slightly change my opinion, but I'm under the impression that a different girl is the focus of that one. There was one scene with Mai in the first arc from the main season that I preferred in the light novel and the manga compared to how they did it in the anime. Like, just to make it super, super vague, there's a scene where I want to say she hugs Sakuta is the main guy's name, I think. But in the anime, they changed it to her slapping him, and I was like, "Why?" Like that kind of completely changes the tone of the scene and to an extent, like how her character is a bit. So I preferred that in the source material. But overall, I really like her design. I do like her personality and just her as a character. I like her dynamic with Sakuta. You know, it's all overall. I like her. I would also put her in good. Yeah. That seems fine. Maki Chainsaw Man, haven't seen it. I think that's Maki Zenin from Jujutsu. She's another one where it's like, I liked her. I thought she was fine. That's basically all I feel about her. Like, I don't know, like, I don't have anything significant or interesting to say about her. I guess I liked seeing some of her backstory in the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie. I hope that she gets more screen time in season 2 to flesh her character out more. I don't know, like, she's fine. Put her like that, I guess. So, yeah, Mommy from Rent a Girlfriend. What the fuck? Like, I thought people hated Mommy. I dropped the show after one episode, so I don't really know. But I thought she was by far the least favorite of all of the main girls. So how is it that she is the only Rent-A-Girlfriend girl in the top 100 on either website? Not Chizuru, but Mommy is? Like, is that a joke? I don't understand. 'Cause, again, I haven't read it, so I don't know, but I was absolutely shocked when I saw that Mommy was in the list. This is some edgelord looking guy from Tokyo Revengers, I think. Haven't seen it, don't plan on it. Marine, I really, really like Marine. I think a lot of people really like Marine for good reasons. I think the best aspect of Marine is how she's just so unabashedly into her passions. Like, she doesn't care what people think. She will pursue what she is passionate about no matter what. Like, she doesn't know how to sew, but she's trying her best to make her cosplay outfits, and then the whole situation with Gojo. Like, she's just so genuine and passionate about the things that she loves. And I really, really like that in her character. I think she has a great design. I really like her voice acting. I like her general progression with Gojo and how she, you know, realizes her feelings for him. I just think Marine is a lot of fun to watch in general. I would put her in very good. Like, as a character, she's not as good as these guys, but I just really, really like her as a character just because of how fun she is. So, yeah, it's hard. I'm still trying to balance character, like, objectively how I feel about them as a character with, like, my personal bias towards them. Because Marine's another one who is probably going to be pretty high in my best girl list when I, like, actually update it next, because I haven't updated it since I've watched it. But, like, as a character, like, all these ones have better development so far. I feel like this is probably fine. Megumin from Konosuba. Aqua is my favorite Konosuba girl, but I think Megumin is probably second. I think the whole explosion thing, like, it's funny, it's a little overdone. I like her gigantic hat. I like her design. She has the red eyes and the red outfit. Like I said, I like red. Good voice acting. I haven't seen the movie yet. I think that kind of has a Megumin focus, at least in the beginning. I know there's also season 3 coming, which is exciting, and there's that Megumin spin-off, which I think is like her in Union in school or something, so that could be fun. Overall, like, I like her. I think she's fun, she's entertaining. I like her more than Kazuma. I'd probably do that. Mikasa from Attack on Titan. So she's another one. I liked her a lot at the start just because of how badass she was. And I kind of feel like she just gets shafted and just not used as much as the series goes on. Like, even in the final season, she's still kind of like, Eren. Like, I would have liked to see some more development from her. And I feel like we're on the cusp of it. Like, the final season, like, final part could have more of that. But it just doesn't yet. So, like, season 1, I probably would have had her pretty high and very good. She's probably more middle tier good for me now. Probably like that. Definitely not as into her more recent design. I preferred her earlier one. But I just feel like her as a character, she's definitely underused, which is too bad. Miku from Quintuplets. My third favorite. I think out of all of them, I think Nino has the best development, but I think Miku's is also pretty good. Like, she really changes a lot from how she is in the beginning of the series to the end. You know, you compare that very shy girl who just wants really nothing to do with other people and to kind of do her own thing at her pace, compared to somebody who's much more active and outgoing and proactive. I mean, you know, not as outgoing as her sister, or as most of her sisters still, but more than she was before. Like, she has great development. I do like her dynamic with Futaro, you know, pretty important for a rom-com. Don't really have anything else to say about her. I like her. She's good. I would put her... probably like that. Misaka from Railgun, haven't seen. Miyamura from Horimiya. I do like Miyamura a lot. Again, I liked him as a protagonist. I think he's another one with some good development that, you know, it really only happens for the first like 4 or 5 episodes, but I think he's very clearly somebody who really cares about the people that, or yeah, he cares about the people that he's close with. You know, he'll do a lot for them. I think he at some point needs to get more of a spine with Hori and how she kind of pushes him around at points. But again, I do like their relationship. I like him as a lead. I think he's funny. I like his dynamics with the other characters too, like his just kind of bro relationship with the student council president. I'm blanking on his name, and some of the other guys. Like, they're good. Mob from Mob Psycho 100. So I really wasn't a huge fan of the first season, but I think Mob grows a lot in the second season. Like, he is a character who has had a lot of development, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in season 3. But season 2, like the whole I've Always Known season with Reagan, the I've Always Known scene with Reagan, I think was really well done. And it just goes to show, again, Mob is kind of like Miyamura. Like, he clearly really cares about the people that he's closer with. He'll do a lot to protect them. He respects them. Just his constant desire for self-improvement, I guess is how I would put it. Like, it's very inspiring in a sense. Like, he always wants to be a better version of himself. And not a lot of people or characters can say that. So I would put Mob in very good. I think this is probably fair. I think he could pass some of these characters based on season 3. Like, I like these guys. I find them more engaging to watch, but I think Mob has had some really good development. Man, it's getting big enough that I have to scroll down to look at these things. Almost down to only 4 rows left. Mustang from Fullmetal Alchemist. I liked him a lot. I think he's one of the more like badass characters in the series. I think I like his dynamic with like Ed, with Hawkeye. I am blanking. yeah, I like how his arc ends. Like the confrontation with, I think it was, God, I'm blanking on what the Sin's names are. The one with the long hair and the tunnels. I really liked that. I really liked his scene with Lust. I liked how his story ended. I wishful thinking. There are parts of it that I would like to change if I could, but yeah, I like Mustang a lot. I would put him in very good, and probably like that. Naruto, haven't seen. I think his name is Natsu from Fairy Tail, haven't seen. Nezuko. So I've always been kind of iffy on Nezuko. Like, she's just kind of there a lot of the time, I feel like. Which, it's not the worst thing, but now it's been 2 seasons in a movie, and aside from that scene in the second season where she, like, really is contributing, like, she has moments, but it's still just kind of, like, mostly her showing up and looking cute and going, like, okay, I guess. I'm sure, I would like to believe she'll have more and better scenes as the story goes on. But I would just put her in okay, decent, probably like that. I don't know why I put Inosuke above him. Nino. So Nino is my favorite of the quintuplets. I think I said it before. I think she has the best development out of all of them. Like, super, super antagonistic in the first season. Like, actually, she was my least favorite after the first season. And after her main arc, which is early to mid season 2, she jumped to the top, and she stayed at the top for the rest of the series for me. So I think that goes to show how strong her arc was, at least in my opinion. I really, really like her dynamic with Futaro and just the teasing and the embarrassment. And like I said, I like Tsundere's. I really like her design after she changes her hairstyle. Great voice acting. If I were to have a con, I'm not a huge fan of the, like, very, very end of the series. How, like, something that she kind of does. It's not even necessarily her. It's more of other people and how she reacts to it. But, that's whatever. Hopefully they cut that out of the movie, because I think those chapters in the manga in general were kind of unnecessary. Dragged it down a little bit at the very end. But as a whole, I really, really like Nino. I would put her in very good. And I would probably put, just because of personal bias, I would put her like that. Actually, then I'm looking at it again, like, clearly as an actual character, like, kind of pales to some of these, but I just like her a lot. I'm just gonna keep her there because that was my gut instinct. Some other Haikyuu guy, don't know his name, Nishinoya, something like that, maybe. I don't know. Nobara from Jujutsu, again, I liked her. I think she's a character who is going to have chances to be better and develop more. She already has some pretty good scenes. Again, kind of like I said with Fushiguro, like that mini arc at the end of the first season where she has to take on that other curse. It was like her and Yuji versus 2 of them. I really liked that. But I think she's kind of underused otherwise. So I would put her in good, but not quite as good as these guys. Just because she hasn't had as many opportunities. Probably do that. Okabe, my goat. My number 1 protagonist of all time. Like I said with Kurisu, him and Kurisu are my number 1 ship of all time. I think Okabe is an incredible character. He has amazing development as the story goes on. I'm always a fan of more adult characters, and I know he's like, he's early on in college, so he's probably like 19 or something like that, so he's not super adult. But actually, when I watched Steins Gate, I think I might have also been 19. I was 19 or 20. So I was right about their age, which I think made it more relatable. and just engaging to me because it was easier for me to self-insert. Like, they're also college students, and how would I react in their situation? And I just think, here you can see Okabe is my number one best guy. I just love Okabe and Kurisu. They are such good characters, so well written. He does have one kind of iffy thing as one of the bad ends in the visual novel, but I wouldn't necessarily justify it, but I guess what happens kind of explains why he thinks like he does. But that one super tiny thing aside, that's not even in the anime, it's just a quick bad end of one of the visual novel routes. He's just a 10 out of 10 character. 11. The closest you can get to an 11 out of 10 character. I love Okabe. Main character from GTO, I think. Haven't seen it. Oreki from Kyoka. Haven't seen it. Have no idea who this guy is. Power from Chainsaw Man. Haven't seen it. Ray from Promised Neverland. So I was a little surprised that he was the only one in the top 100 again. Like, I always felt like Emma and Norman were more popular. So for Ray to be the only one in the tops, I was, a little surprised. But I did like Ray. I think he's not quite as like cunning as Norman is, but he's still obviously very intelligent, and I liked the suspense of the scenes that he was in, and just like the three of them. Well, obviously season 1 with him, Emma, and Norman is like the three heads and how they're thinking about the situations, like super great. I love their dynamic and just how good they were at thinking about all of these situations and planning. Season 2 obviously not as strong. He still has a decent role in that, but I liked him. I would say he's good. Probably like that. Reagan, Mob Psycho. I also really liked Reagan. He's a scumbag with a heart of gold, I guess, kind of. He kind of takes advantage of Mob. Well, he definitely takes advantage of Mob, but he also clearly cares about him and respects him, like, in terms of how strong he is and just as a person. And I really like their mutual respect and just their relationship. Like, it's almost like a father-son type of thing, and I like that. I really liked the Reagan focus that we got in season 2, with his whole like media arc and how that all ended. And like I said with Mob, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how season 3 goes. But I would put Reagan also in very good, probably ahead of Mob. Like, I like Reagan more as a character. Ray from Evangelion. So another one where I'm kind of like, she's fine. She's not as interesting as Asuka, I don't think. Like, she, again, had some good scenes, but I just was never super big on her. I'd probably put her in okay, like something like that. She has red eyes, which I like, but I don't know. Maybe my opinion would be different on Evangelion in general, like the characters and the series as a whole, if I watched the Rebuild movies, which I haven't done. But since I wasn't big on the main series, like, it's just hard for me to compel myself to actually get around to watching them. Ichigo's cuter. Rei is probably a better character. I'll leave that there to think about it. Rem. So Rem was one who I really, really liked in season 1. And then I wouldn't say my opinion of her tanked, but I just started caring about her way less after season 1. Like, between the wait for season 2 and then she's not as involved in season 2, and I don't know, like, I almost kind of feel like it was because I was newer to anime that I just really got attached to her, like, how wholesome and, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Not to say the only people who are new to anime like her, like, again, totally, I understand the appeal of Rem, but, like, as a character, I feel like she just hasn't contributed a whole lot since mid to late season 1. So I would put her in good, I mean, in okay, decent, like, I guess, like, I can't in good faith put Ichigo above them. Yeah, probably like that. Rengoku. So Rengoku, I think, is one of the better Demon Slayer characters. I really liked his role in the movie. I think he's a great role model for, like, the main trio of Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke to look up to. Obviously a badass. Like, his fight on the train and against the upper demon off the train were both really exciting. It was clear how much all of the characters respect him. And just in general, like, I do like Rengoku. I did think he was good. I'd probably put it like this. Revi from Black Lagoon, haven't seen it. Did I say Ragoon? Black Lagoon. Haven't seen it. I do plan on it. Relatively high on my watch list. I think this is Rias from DxD. Another show I plan on watching but haven't gotten around to yet. Oh boy, we're really getting close to the end here. I'm gonna once again be curious to see how long this ends up being. Rikka from Chunibyo. I like Rikka a lot. I think she's really cute. I like her relationship with what's his name, Yuta, I think. She's another one who I think has some good development in season 1, like coming to terms with the death of her father and how she's different after that. I think I said it in the anime one. It was a little annoying how long I felt it took her and Yuta's relationship to develop more. Very satisfying once it does, but until then, But, you know, she's really cute. She's fun. She's funny. I would probably put her, like, probably like that. Rimuru from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I like Rimuru a lot as protagonist. I don't remember if I nominated him for best protagonist. I probably did. He's another character who, like, as a character, like, not fantastic, but I just find him fun to watch and enjoyable, and because of that, I think he's good. I really like the cast in this series as a whole. And Rimuru is a big focus of that because he, being the good guy he is, brings all of these characters together. He's another one who's OP, so he's fun to watch. I kind of liked that darker tone that season 2 had and how he reacted to it. But yeah, I like Rimuru. He's good. I would put him, like, probably like that. Rin Tohsaka. Well, I said earlier, number 4 best girl, so where is she going? All the way up to GOAT. As a character, yeah, probably like that. I love Rin. I think Fate Unlimited Blade Works is one of my favorite of the Fate, like, anime series. I think she's great in that series as the main girl. I think in Heaven's Feel, as more of a supporting character, she's still really strong. Like, then you can really understand her relationship with Sakura and kind of the unresolved trauma and just disagreements, or not disagreements, what the hell am I saying? I mean, they disagree over things for sure, but there's definitely some trauma and tension in their relationship, and you kind of know why if you've seen Fate Zero. But I really liked how it progresses in the Heaven's Feel series. She's got the ZR going on, which I think awoke something in a lot of people. She's just iconic for that. One of the most popular tsunderes of all time, and like I said, I like tsunderes, so she's got a lot of traits that I like. But as a character, I do think she's excellent. And then you can see here, not just as Rin in my top, but we also have a Ereshkigal who's a Rin face. It's a different character in her body, essentially, but that character is influenced by Rin's personality, so it's kind of like a fusion of Rin and Ereshkigal, the goddess, and then it's the same with Ishtar. She like just barely wasn't in this top 12, but she's up there too. They're both from Fate Grand Order. I think this is like Robin, Nico Robin from One Piece. Haven't seen it. Roxy from Mushoku Tensei. I do like Roxy. I think she's her and Eris are probably the two of the better characters. I also like Rui Jared. I'd put her in good. I liked her, like, how she like does her own thing. Like, she has her own adventuring party for a lot of it, and she goes with her own objective. Like, yeah, it's to partly look for the main character after he gets separated from everybody. But I did like Roxy as a character from that series. One of the better ones. Cute design, big hat. I like big hats. I liked the episode with her and her parents a lot. Like, when you finally understood her backstory and they had their reunion and got some of the emotions out. That was good. Yeah, overall, I do like Roxy. I would probably put her, like, probably like that. Oh, we are getting close. Saber from Fate. So, I've never really been, like, a Saber connoisseur or anything. Like, I like Saber Alter in Heaven's Feel. I thought that was a pretty interesting change from the standard Saber. And I do like when you compare Saber with oh my god, I'm blanking on the name of the main character from Fate Zero. Whatever, like how he and her are more at odds in terms of their ideals compared to like her with Shiro and Unlimited Blade Works. Very different. I think I might like Saber most in the Today's Menu with the Emilia family spinoff, where she's just like chilling and hanging out and having a good time and eating good food all the time. Like, I don't know. I like Saber, but I wouldn't say I've ever really considered her a favorite or like top tier or anything, which I know is going to be blasphemous to some people because one of my friends loves Saber. But for me, she's probably just like in good. I'd probably put her like around here. Psyche from Disastrous Life of Psyche K, I think. Haven't seen it. I plan to at some point. Saitama from One Punch Man. So, I actually like Saitama a lot. The manga goes a lot farther than how the anime is right now, and I wouldn't say what I've read of it, at least, he's ever really changed from just being the OP One Punch Man who wrecks everything and then he has his funny scenes, but I think he's really, really entertaining. But, I mean, the main thing with One Punch Man is just the fights and the side characters. They're so varied and good in general, that Saitama just feels kind of weak compared to them. Like, he's funny, but I don't really feel like he's anything beyond just kind of funny or entertaining. Really, the side characters steal the show in that series for me. So I'd probably just put him in okay decent, like that, I guess. Yeah. Sakura from Fate. So Sakura is another one who I didn't really appreciate a whole lot, just because like my main Fate exposure was Fate Zero, then Fate Unlimited Blade Works, where she's not really important in either of them, and then Fate Grand Order, where her real only appearance is other characters like using her body as like a vessel, kind of like with Rin and Ereshkigal and Ishtar that I mentioned earlier. She has a couple who use hers, and that changed after I saw Fate Heaven's Feel, like the movie trilogy. I really liked Sakura as a character in that, like her slow descent into madness essentially and becoming an antagonist because of the Grail corrupting her. Actually, now I'm blanking if it was the Grail or if it was something else. But either way, just becomes Dark Sakura, gets corrupted, switches sides. Like, I really liked her story arc in that and how it was all resolved. So I have grown to enjoy Sakura more as a character since then. And I would say I like her more than Saber, but not significantly more. So she's not going to, like, jump up a crazy amount. I'd probably put her, like, there. Final 2 rows. We are getting really close. This is some guy from One Piece. Sanji, probably. Haven't seen it. Sasuke, haven't seen it. Sebastian from Black Butler, haven't seen it. Senjugahara from Monogatari, haven't seen it. Wow, nice, blasted through that. Senku from Dr. Stone. I really like Senku. And I think part of that is because I really like science and just that feeling of discovery, like trying something new and having it work out. Like, it's such an amazing feeling, and I think Senku and the rest of the Dr. Stone cast really embody just how fun and exciting that is. So I really like him, and I think it's kind of funny that I say that because early on in Dr. Stone, like the first 5 or 6 episodes, I actually really considered dropping it because it aggravated me so much how he would just say, like, yeah, I'm 10 billion% sure of this and that and everything. Like, dude, shut up. You don't have to be 10 billion% sure of everything. Like, it was super annoying to me. But he really, really, really grew on me, and I really like him as a protagonist. Like, he's always coming up with these crazy new ideas, and he's kind of OP in that sense. But he's still not afraid to rely on other people to help him create these ideas and inventions and all of that. Like, Chrome, I think, is a great second hand to Senku and is really coming into his own as well. But I like Senku a lot as a main character. I would probably put him, like, around here. I don't know if I have him in my best guy list off the top of my head either, actually, but I probably would put him there if I don't. Shinji from Evangelion. So he's another one who I don't really like, never really liked. I think objectively, like, he's a solid character. But he just annoys me all the time. It's like, oh, well, that's the point. Shinji's not supposed to be likable. Okay, well, I don't like him. So I'm not going to rank him well. I do think he has, again, like, he has moments and he gets better as the show goes on. But then he's frustrating in other respects because I feel like he'll regress after making good progress. And that's just really, really annoying as a viewer. Which, again, like, given what is happening in the story and that he's, like, 14 or whatever, like, I get it. But just because that's how a character is, like, expected to act doesn't necessarily make it a fun or enjoyable watching experience, you know? And for me, Shinji was a very annoying part of Evangelion. I think, like, the middle 2/3 leading up to the end, he was solid. And then I just didn't really like the beginning or the actual end. So I think he's okay. I think he's a good protagonist for what, like, Evangelion sets out to do. But just on a personal level, I don't really like him. So I would put him in okay because of that. And probably, like, I would put him at the bottom of okay. Shinobu Monogatari, haven't seen it. Shoko from A Silent Voice. I like Shoko as a protagonist. I think she's very endearing, and she's one of those characters who you really just want to see the best for, or really wish the best for. So anything bad that happens to her, be it seeing her past, like, when you see her past and how she was bullied as a kid by Shoya, like, you just really hate him because of it. But obviously you don't hate Shoya, or I didn't hate Shoya in the present, because he was clearly trying to rectify what he did in the past. And Shoko, I think, wants to help him do that and take her own step forward, which makes her, I think, she's very sympathetic. She's very empathetic. She really tries her best, and, like, you just can't help but love Shoko, I think. Just wanting all of the good things in the world to happen to her. I have heard that the movie cut out a decent amount from the anime, so I mean, the movie cut out a decent amount from the manga just because it's a movie and it's adapting, like, what is it, 50-something chapters, which is a lot to cram into an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'd be curious to see how she's different, or maybe just has more scenes in the manga. I'm going to check it out at some point. But I would put her in good and probably, like, probably around here. Here. Soma from Food Wars. So I really, really like Soma. You can see here he's number 12 on my best guys list. He's just one of those characters who, like, as a character, whatever, but he's just so fun for me to watch. Like, I never ever get sick of him pulling up some crazy recipe out of his ass to, like, somehow beat some top ranked student or teacher, whoever the hell he's fighting against in these food wars, in the Shokugekis, I should say. Like, he's just so fun as a protagonist, and the whole cast really is great. Like, they're one of my favorite casts in all of anime. But I think a big part of that is Soma, because they all are connected through him, essentially. Yeah, he's just wicked, wicked fun to watch. I would put him at the top of very good just because of that. Spike from Cowboy Bebop, haven't seen, but I'm planning on it. Subaru, so Subaru from ReZero. I like him. He's another one who, kind of like Emilia, I was iffy-ish on, and then I thought season 2 was better because you get to see his past. I really liked the episode where he has that scene with his family that Echidna, like, gives him the visions or whatever. I thought that was one of the best episodes in all of season 2, and it just gave you some much needed background on Subaru. So seeing how he also takes steps forward throughout the season to, you know, again, be more willing to rely on others to help him do his things and not feel like he has to do everything alone each time he loops. I liked that. So I think he can be a little stubborn at times, which can be kind of frustrating as a viewer, or just he doesn't act the way that you would like or expect him to. But I would still put him as good. Probably like this. I know there are some people who really, really, really like him, like, would say he's a top protagonist of all time type of thing. But I haven't read far enough ahead. Like, I mean, I haven't read ahead at all. I've only seen what's in the anime. So, again, I do think he's good, but I think he certainly has some room before he can become something on that level for me. Taiga from Toradora. So, maybe hot take, but I don't really like Taiga. She's another one, again, like, I feel like I've said this a lot, but she definitely gets better as the series goes on. Like, her, pretty much from, like, the Christmas-ish scene and on, I think she's a lot better and more likable, but she's one of those characters who's super, super violent tsundere, and I just don't like that. Like, it just aggravates me as a viewer. So, like, I kind of liked her and Ryuji as a ship. I think Ryuji was the main character's name. It's been a while, but I'm just not a huge Toradora fan, and Taiga I've just never really been a big fan of either. I don't know. Like, I don't dislike her, but I don't care for her. I'd put her in okay and, like, here, I guess, towards the bottom of it. This guy, I think he's from Maid-sama. I don't know his name. I've never seen the show. Final row. Let's close this out with a bang. Tanjiro. So, like most Demon Slayer characters, I'm just kind of iffy. I feel like the characters are probably the weakest aspect of Demon Slayer for me. I do think the story and the setup is interesting, and obviously the production is just unreal. Tanjiro is one who I think is better than most of the characters, but I'm still not a huge fan. And I think a big part of that is, I don't even know if it's necessarily his fault, but I get so aggravated with how many flashbacks you get of him thinking about his dead family when he's in fights. It's like he gets hit once, he's like, oh, I can't let myself fall down because I have to avenge my family. And then he gets hit a second time. He's like, I can't die. My dead brothers would be disappointed. And then he gets hit a third time, and he's like, Mom, I swear I'm not gonna die yet. And then he gets hit a fourth time. He's like, Dad, why didn't you teach me about this fire dance? And then he gets hit a fifth time, and he's like, maybe I am gonna die. And then his little brothers show up, and they're like, Tanjiro, you can't die now. I won't let it happen. And he's like, you're right, I can't die. And then he goes back into the fight, and then he gets hit a sixth time, and then he sees a vision of Nezuko. He's like, I can't let her die because everybody else is dead. I'm like, oh my god. Like, it's been 17 minutes of the episode, and it's all you having flashbacks of your dead family. It's so annoying. Oh my god. So the rant aside about his dead family flashbacks annoying me, it's a totally valid motivation. I get it, but I don't need to see it every freaking fight. He's fine aside from that, I feel like. I think he's a lot more level-headed and clearly thoughtful, and like he doesn't just rush into fights. Like, he actually thinks about his opponent and how he can get the upper hand, which I like, because you don't see that as much with some shonen characters, I feel like, as shonen protagonists, I should say. But I'm still not super big on him either, so I'd also put him in okay above the rest of the Demon Slayer characters, but yeah, probably like there. Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. So Thorfinn is another one who I really wasn't a huge fan of in Vinland Saga. Like, I gave the show originally a 10, and then I dropped it to a 9, and I think 9 is very fair. But Thorfinn was probably one of the weakest parts, because kind of like Tanjiro, he's just constantly thinking about revenge and the past and screaming about how bad he wants to kill Askeladd. I'm like, again, I get it. You don't need to do it all the time, like, as a viewer. It just gets kind of frustrating to hear it over and over and over and over and over again. I have heard, however, that in season 2, well, in the arc that season 2 will adapt, I think it's called like Farmland or something, that's when Thorfinn really starts to come into his own as a strong character. So I am looking forward to that, because I want him to get that development and become a really strong protagonist. But as it was, I'm ranking him just based on season 1. Just season 1. And I would only put him in okay because of that. Probably like here. Even below Kirito. I know, you want to just like put me on a stake because of that. I'm sorry. But Kirito isn't anywhere near as annoying as Thorfinn was in season 1. Like, he's basically a non-player. Like, he had a good fight against Thorkel, I think, in like episode 18 or whatever that was. And I liked his scene with Askeladd towards the end. But aside from that, not really a big fan. I think he'll probably go up quite a bit after season 2, though, based on everything I've heard. Todoroki from My Hero. So I'm kind of iffy on most My Hero characters, but Todoroki is one that I do like a lot. He's always kind of been one of my favorites, just because I think the dual fire ice is really nice, or really cool. I like him as a character as well, like how he initially was only using his ice half because he rejected his father, who gave him the fire half, and Deku helped him accept that part of himself. It's like, you're not your father, you're you, and how you choose to use your powers is totally up to you. It's not your parents influencing you and all that. Like, I like that whole aspect of his personality, and I like how he's continued to grow and just become one of the more reliable, strong members of Class 1A. But, I'm still just kind of, given his opportunities in My Hero, I just feel like he hasn't had a ton to really shine, aside from the sports festival in season 2 was good, and then like the Stain fight also in season 2 was good. And then since then, like, I feel like he just hasn't done a whole lot. Granted, I haven't finished season 5, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, like, he kind of peaked in season 2, and he just, I don't know. So I do still like him. I would still say he's good. but maybe around like this, the order of like these two rows are kind of bugging me. Like I'm not quite sure I've been ordering this how I really feel, but I'll leave him here. This is another one that surprised me. Tsubaki from Your Lie in April. I thought people really didn't care for her. Like, I liked her. I thought she's a good pair with Kosei. You know, she's definitely supportive of him, which I liked, given everything that he's been going through. Like, she remains supportive of him. So she clearly means well. She has a good heart. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about her. I liked her. I probably wouldn't put her past okay, but I do think she gets more hate than she deserves. So it was a pleasant surprise to see her, but I do still think she's way overly rated to be in the top 100. That's ridiculous. I'll put her like around here, I guess. Vegeta from Dragon Ball, haven't seen it. Violet from Violet Evergarden. So Violet, I think, is a very strong character. I really like her journey over the course of the season and the movie. Just how she comes to understand emotions, understand her own feelings, understand the feelings of others, put those feelings into words to help them. It's a very emotional journey. I think she was a great character to go on that, just because she starts so emotionless. So seeing her go from emotionless to being able to actually express those thanks to her experiences with others, I thought was a very gratifying thing to see, a very nice journey. So I really did like Violet a lot, and I would probably put her in very good, but at the end of that. Yato from Noragami. So it's been a while since I've watched this, probably like 6 or 7 years as well. I did really like Noragami when I did watch it. I thought Yato was a really fun protagonist. He's another one kind of like Gojo, who he has that kind of lighthearted personality, but then he also clearly has that darker side. So when you see him go sicko mode or whatever, like, it's fun to see him really flex his powers and all of that. I would like to see more of him before I really get a good sense of his character. Like, the 2 seasons, again, were strong. I really liked, especially season 2, his relationship with Bishamon and Ebisu, I think, was the second arc of season 2. I thought those were good for kind of expanding Yato's personality and story. Even just like his relationship with Yukine and the cleansing that happened in season 1, I think that was also good. I'm gonna read the manga because at this point I'm getting doubtful that it will get another season of anime, which is too bad, because from what I hear there's a ton of manga left to adapt and it's all pretty good. But I did like Yato a lot, so I would put him also towards the end of very good. I'd probably put him like here. You're from Spy Fam. Wow, final 6, and I know 5 of them. I'm just going to put Zoro here because I haven't seen that yet. So only the 5 that I have seen are left. You're from Spy Family. So I do like Yor a lot. She's one of my favorite girls of 2022. She's got the red eyes, of course. I said I like that a lot. I really like her split between the badass assassin side and just the cute, I don't know if I want to say ditzy, but just cute, wholesome, kind of ditzy fake housewife to Lloyd and fake mother to Anya. But I really, really love her dynamic with them. They're a great family, and of course Yor and Lloyd is one of my favorite ships. I really like Yor. She's just a very likable character in general. I would put her in very good as well, and probably I like her more than these guys. I'll probably put her here for now. I need to read more of the manga just to get a better sense of her character, I feel like. I have read ahead of where the anime is, so I already know some of what the second core will adapt in the fall, but I don't know everything because I'm not fully caught up. So I hear there has been some more Yor focus in the recent chapters, so that'll be nice, but yeah, for now, I think that's a pretty fair spot for her for me. Yukino from Origairu. So, Yukino is my least favorite of the three mains. I like Yui and Aroha, and then Yukino in that order. I feel that Yui is probably the strongest character of the three, but Yukino isn't a bad character. I think she's another one like Hachiman where her attitude and the way she reacts to things can be kind of frustrating, but she also goes through some clear development and becomes more willing to accept, some of that help or just at least suggestions from other people, which I liked. Because obviously Hachiman helps her and she doesn't want his help, but she is forced to realize that, he does mean well at points and she should take it and not just immediately react negatively to people. So my opinion on her has kind of gone up over time as I watch the series and whatnot, but she is still my least favorite of the three. I'd probably only put her in okay, but higher up in the okay, like maybe around here. Yuno from Future Diary. So Yuno I liked as a character. I think she was even though she's a main character and whatnot, she's kind of an antagonist at the same, she's a protagonist and an antagonist, if that makes sense, just given how she kind of changes throughout the story multiple times. And I liked that. I actually enjoyed Future Diary. I thought, unironically, it was fun. It was a good thriller, kept you on your toes. You didn't necessarily know what was going to happen next, and Yuno was a big part of that because she's one of the most iconic yanderes, and it feels tense when she's going kind of crazy and you don't know what she will do. So I liked Yuno. I would actually put her in good, but probably towards the end of it, I honestly kind of feel like I have to drop Erwin and Emilia a little bit here. I would probably say Yuno is at the end of good. I do like her, but I wouldn't say she's a spectacular character. She's just enjoyable and she serves her role in the story really well. Last two, Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. So if it was season 1, I'd put him in bad. I freaking hated Zenitsu. Dude just constantly annoyed me with the constant screaming and crying and oh my god, I just wanted him to shut up and leave the show. I wished he was never introduced. I think Inosuke, through the movie and season 2, he definitely gets better. He contributes more. I think he is less screamy and whiny. He obviously cares about Tanjiro and Nezuko and Inosuke, beyond his annoying, oh, Nezuko screams, which is, I still think are annoying, but, he's gotten better. So I would say he's now jumped up to the not great tier. I still don't really like him, but I think his character has taken steps in the direction that I would need to see him go to continue getting better. So I'm hopeful that in the following seasons, that I know they've announced the next arc. Hopefully once that comes out, he'll continue this upward trajectory and just not be so borderline insufferable for me. But yeah, not a fan of Zenitsu as it is. When he is quiet and sleep fighting in his lightning form, he's good though. Last but definitely not least, 02. So I know she's contentious. I like her a lot. She used to be in my top 5 best girls, and she has dropped pretty significantly. She's still in the top 25, but she's closer to 20 than 15 at this point, I think. And it's just over time, I've kind of cooled off on her. I still think she has a great design. Obviously I said I like red. She has the red horns, the pink hair, the red outlines on her eyes, the red outfit, the red plug suit thing. So all of that tickles my fancy, you could say. But as a character, a little frustrating at times. Less frustrating than most of the cast. I would say probably the best character of the cast. But again, that's not saying a whole lot, given the cast is pretty weak, in my opinion. Either way, I liked her. I thought she was fun. definitely was best girl material, like upper tier best girl material for me at one time, and though she's not anymore, I do still like her, partially for nostalgia and partially because I still like her character, just not as much as I used to. The whole darling line is pretty iconic. You know, I don't get sick of hearing that. And I did like her roles in the fights. Like, I think episode 15 was probably the peak of the series for me. The fight she was in that was great. Didn't really care for the ending and all of that, but either way, I would put her in good, but she's also like towards the end of it, probably like this. And that's everybody. So I think this ended up being similar or slightly shorter too than the anime one, which is surprising considering there's more characters here. Maybe I actually just knew a similar percent, so it took about the same amount of time. But here's the finalized list, not including the ones I don't know. So, kind of surprised that there's not more in Amazing. It's just a lot of goats and then a lot of very goods and no bads, which is nice. They're not too far off from it, but they're not in it at least. So, you can let me know if there are any of these that you really strongly disagree with and I should reconsider my stance on, you know, maybe, or for whatever reason, or whatever you agree with, you know, I'd be obviously interested in hearing. I do like just hearing why people do and don't like certain characters, as long as it's done in a nice way and not in attacking, aggressive way, because that's frustrating to deal with. But yeah, these are my tiers for the top 134 most popular from My Anime List and AniList. So another really long video. If you did make it all this way, then again, thanks for watching and checking it out. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the link to this tier list will be in the description if you want to make it yourself and see how your results compare to mine, or just do it on your own, whatever. Yeah, you can check out my playlist to see other tier lists or other videos if you want to see other anime stuff. I got lots of random things on the channel that you can check out. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.